What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition here of Fatboy Fadeaway podcast. We're here on Sunday morning, 7:02 a.m. What's up, gentlemen? How we doing?
Doing well. Birds are chirping. Dodgers lost. I can't be better.
Giants fans feeling good about himself. Case, how are you?
I thought you were going to quote Happy Gilmore for a second. But yeah, no, I'm doing good.
Easy.
I know. It's still kind of crazy.
Really off shit.
I wore pants like that. I'd kick my own ass.
Hey, so let's get right into it, man. Like, we weren't going to talk any MLB this week, or we were just kind of briefly touch on it at the end of our podcast, but last night turned out to kind of change the situation a little bit. That was just once in a lifetime, like, kind of World Series game. Thankfully, Hannah maybe made nice dinner. I was falling asleep about the seventh inning, and then she had the game on it for some reason. She watched it with me, and she made me some coffee. I actually stayed up, and if it wasn't for her, I probably would have missed the whole game. So thank you, Hannah, for making me that coffee. Thank you for making me that coffee. And it was worth it. What a game. And like, for her, I was thinking about the game, just what a playoff game, what a World Series game. It literally had like everything you had wanted it. Yeah, you have the Brett Phillips, the moment, out of the blue, 2 at bats the whole postseason, comes through with the big hit, clutch, good pitching at moments, good pitching, more so clutch hitting. It was a fun game. Balls were put in play, I thought, for the most part. Lots of action. Had that little league feel towards the last 3 innings of the game. Yeah, just kind of felt like maybe the last 5 innings, even with teams just kind of scoring every half inning a little bit here and there. And the emotion wasn't good, and their best players keep performing well. Like, the guy from Tampa, I'm not even going to try to say his name this week because it went out on me last week. No, Arizona. and then Seager. I mean, he's been unreal too as well. So we have 9 home runs for the Tampa Bay superstar. We got 8 from the Dodgers. So it's just been a crazy, crazy World Series. T, what's your initial thoughts of Game 4? I know you checked it out last night. In case we'll get yours right after.
Who the hell is this? A Rosarena guy? I didn't.
Thank you for saying his name properly, by the way.
I did. I never even heard his name before this playoffs. Like, I didn't know who he was. I've never even.
He did come from St. Louis, which is shocking to me because I think we both.
They don't let guys like that go.
And guess who else came from St. Louis? Just before we get off track, Luke Voigt. He also, the Cardinals let him go as well. All right, go ahead, T. Yeah, World Series.
And I was just, what a stud. And then it was just a great game. There are certain guys that, like, Seager is something else. Like, when he's healthy, he's unreal.
He hits lefties too, just as well.
Oh, he hits anything. He just hits. That's like the game was great. Jansen has lost something. He's not the same. Like, he's like their least dependable reliever now. So it's kind of interesting. Like, the Dodgers have the 9th inning where they're like, because they have this big guy Bertrude or whatever who comes in. There's 102, and like their bullpen's pretty lights out until they get to him. Wasn't great last night.
I think Jansen's lost a couple miles per hour, which probably hurts his cutter a little bit.
Yeah.
Case, what was your your thoughts of Game 4? I know you said you watched every pitch.
I have not watched the baseball game throughout from 1st inning to 9th inning, and I have no idea how long. It's been probably since I went to a game, to be honest, and I probably missed a few going to the bathroom. But no, it was incredible.
Or getting a few teddies.
Good old Jason Smith.
Probably getting a few Teddy Brewskis as well.
It was it was something else, man. I mean, they had 8 consecutive half innings where each team scored. I was like, that's nuts. Like, that never happens, like, ever.
You're good at baseball games.
Yeah, no, and just, I mean, it's like home run derby for a while, and it's like, I don't know. I was just super impressed with Tampa Bay's resilience, man. They just keep coming. Like, every time a momentum blow gets hit, you're like, they're going to fade. And then they come back. They were down 4-2. And I was like, it's getting away. Then Lau hits the opposite jack again, makes it 5-4. And the Dodgers, retake. And I'm like, 8th inning, that sucks. They put up a good fight. And then they get a guy on. And they get another guy on. I'm like, of course, Brett Phillips comes up. I was like, no chance in hell. And then he drills one. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? And then that whole sequence was nuts.
Oh, I know. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
let's go over a couple of those plays real quick. Case there's three things that just really stuck out to me the last three. There's a lot of moments in this game, but I'll just go over a few real quick. First, Robert sticking with Diaz much longer than he should have earlier in the game. I was kind of weird he took him out, I thought, for low anyways. And then, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of an interesting move. And then he left him in even longer. And then Killmeyer hit him deep too in the game. So I thought that was kind of an interesting move. Robert's emotions were on top par in this game. He was fully letting him out. It was great. It was just, I gotta say, that is the thing I've enjoyed the most about the baseball, is I feel like it's kind of gotten back a little bit, this in a sense, because there's nothing on TV really yesterday. No college football on late. Kind of had a chance to kind of be in prime time a little bit. It had a game that delivered, and you never have finishes like that in baseball. That's like a once in a lifetime finish where, you know what I mean? Like that's not going to happen. You'll have walk-offs, but not
Plays
quite
at the
to
plate and stuff.
not to that errors, and just like, the guy stumbling around third, and then it looks like he's going to be out, and they can't make a throw from 7 feet home. And the guy drops it, and then he slides, and his fingertips like barely touch home plate as he's sliding into home. It was just the whole game. So that play kind of, I thought the whole thing, and Robert's emotions were just totally great. I just wanted to bring up one play with you guys that I really kind of wanted to get your opinion on. What did you think of that play at second base where Muncy slides in and the shortstop, he's kind of like bear hugging him a little bit, and Muncy definitely loses his balance, and I think he would have probably kind of had to fall and catch himself in some sense. But this guy definitely felt like he gave him a little, he definitely gave him a little bit more. And I think it pushed him off the bag a little bit more. What did you guys think of that play?
I thought it was the right call based on, I hate the fucking Dodgers. So
I
thought it was the right call also.
Okay.
I thought that it was the right call because I think if the guy wasn't there, he would have fallen over off the base. Like the shortstop.
I was just thinking he would have probably would have been able to keep a foot on the bag, possibly, is what I was thinking.
I think you use that guy to like regain his balance, but it knocked that guy over. So he like pulled him down, which the call could have gone either way. I don't know why it's not viewable, which is strange.
It was just a weird play. It
was a crazy play.
Casey, you think anything of it?
Muncy's a big boy. I mean, it's not like he's too light on his feet. That slide was kind of awkward already, and then he's
definitely doesn't have feather feet.
No, I think it was the right call. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, he could have, he should have, he would have, but you can't do that. I mean,
no. I just thought that play was kind of an interesting one.
I would say I was surprised they did call it that way. I thought they were going to say, "Oh, he was forced up," because he did have his arms around him, which mean like he did help him come off the base. Like,
it just kind of curious.
I'm surprised they made that call.
I'm kind of curious where those plays continue to go over time. Like will there be middle infielders that start to get better at like stuff like that? Or I don't know. Like they're just kind of, if they're going to be able to replay if you come off the bag by a nanosecond, and just might be a skill that some people develop over time. So game 4. Go ahead, Jason.
I have to say, when you sent me that text message last night, I thought you meant it on purpose, and I was like, oh, that was a really good one when you said Silly Mays Hayes, because I thought you said it because he was stumbling around third. And you're like, I meant Willie, and I was like, well, Silly Mays Hayes works even better.
I got to give Harold Reynolds some credit on that one, because it was just there was a great breakdown, and they showed that replay for like 4 minutes, completely after the game, like from 100 different angles and stuff. And I'm sure if you're a Rays fan, you had lots of energy last night. Probably couldn't go to bed after a crazy finish like that. So let's kind of move on now. It's hard to move on from game 4, but now it changes everything. Dodgers were going up 3-1. My prediction was looking good. Dodgers in 5. Kershaw, not as much pressure on him in that game 5, who's just one of the few great players in a sport to just struggle so mightily in the postseason. I mean, his ERA is like almost double, if not double, of what it really is in the regular season. So it's crazy how bad he's been. Tonight he gets the ball though against Glanslow, who he struggled as well in game 1. But he does throw 100 consistently at times, so he does bring the BBs.
He's got to throw strikes.
That's his issue once in a while. And the Dodgers, though, are a really good, patient team, so it should be a tough matchup. Kershaw guys versus Glanslow. I bet if you're a Dodgers fan, this is my thought. You have probably got to be crapping yourself after a loss like that. And then you're probably just, I mean, come on, Case, me and you as A's fans, I mean, we're pessimistic as all get out. I'm sure they're feeling the same exact way after a loss like that. So, Case, you get the first crack at it. Predictions. We're not going to be able to do this pod again until we know the end of the World Series. So, predictions for Game 5, and what's your thoughts on the rest of the World Series here?
Game 5. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay, and then I'm gonna go Dodgers in 7.
Well, that would be a great MLB finish that they would be hoping for, something like that, where it would go 7 and they have to have a comeback like that. That would be something they definitely would be rooting for. T, what's your predictions and final thoughts to put a bow on our Major League Baseball season here?
I mean, unfortunately, if I'm thinking with my head, I would take Dodgers and
Sure the right
Dodgers and the Dodgers. We're talking about baseball, and I don't have to worry about that head. He doesn't come into play for this one. I would take Dodgers and Dodgers. Like, if I'm really, like, if I had to put money on it, fuck the Dodgers, go Rays. But
the Dodgers bullpen though really showed the crack. Like it was funny because I was like, oh, the Rays have a huge advantage in the bullpen, and their bullpen was horrible wasn't very great, very good last night as well. So I think sometimes when you get to the postseason like this, I mean, like when you're down to the final games, I think we both can admit the hitters almost. I'm not saying they have the advantage, but their attention level is going to be at their greatest of all time. So they're going to be, their focus is better. So at times you see like, you know, Jock Peterson, who probably would have struck out 98% of the time in a situation like that in the postseason, makes base hit contact or, you know, stuff like that. So I had the Dodgers in 5, so I'm going to stick with the Dodgers in 7 here. Like I kind of go with Casey here on this one. I'm rooting for 7. I just think this season deserves 7. So I'm rooting for it. So I think that's what we're all pulling for here. I don't know, guys. Should be a fun little end of the series here. I haven't watched baseball like that. Been this excited for a Game 5 in a while. I'm actually kind of really looking forward to the matchup and just to kind of see baseball back on the map. I'm curious to see how the ratings are when against the Cardinals Seahawks, though. They probably do horrible, but I'm just curious to see how they do.
Game 1 had higher ratings than any NBA Finals game.
Yeah, NBA really struggled, though, obviously.
I mean, Manfred deserves a shout out. I don't know if he lucked into it, but this season turned out pretty well for, like,
I think if we go back and look at our pods, we were all pretty hard on him at the beginning, especially the Casey there.
Race relations.
So Manfred's giving Casey the middle finger right now, as we can believe right now. So that's our MLB segment for the week. We'll be back here to get back to our NFL segment here. So enjoy the Game 5. Enjoy the rest of the World Series, guys. We'll be back here
Rays
on the Fatboy here with the NFL segment. All right, we're back here with Fatboy Fadeaway Sports Podcast here to start our NFL segment, our look at Week 7 here. Gentlemen, here we go. Week 6, I struggled big time picking wise. We'll get into that a little bit later. The game itself
suck.
Tyler, you're the only one that did a little decent, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's talk about some of the game. Let's take a look back here at some of the games from Week 6. The only game I think I really want to focus on, we'll kind of briefly touch on some other ones, but the big game from last week was Packers at Bucs. Both teams, or not both teams, undefeated. Packers were undefeated going into the last week. Bucs only 1 loss. It was a weird game. Packers looked good real early, up 10-0. Rodgers looked okay, and then all of a sudden it looked like he had money on the game or something, and he just like stopped play. Like it was like literally the weirdest thing. There was a touchdown for an interception for a touchdown. They get a fumble. The Bucs D just, I mean, something like having like rockets up their asses or something. They just all of a sudden like played unreal in the second half there, or to pick up the game. And then Brady, nothing unreal stat wise, but was efficient, and Gronk got a little bit involved. Rodgers ended up 160 with 2 picks. Brady only ended up with 166 and 2 touchdowns, but that Bucs defense was quite impressive, boys. Casey, let's start with you. After that 38-10 Buccaneers demolishment of the Packers, are you more impressed with the Buccaneers or a little bit more concerned with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers there?
I'm more impressed with the Bucs. I mean, we kind of knew going into this year. I mean, they have so much talent on both sides of the ball, but it's just it's kind of funny. I kind of laugh. I was like, who's the coordinator of the Bucs for defense? Oh yeah, the former Jets coach Todd Bowles. Ooh, kind of messed that one up. But, after that first quarter, the Packers only had, I looked at like 3 times. I was like, is that right? 57 yards in the last 3 quarters. I was like, that's like lockdown defense. It's like less than 20 yards a quarter. I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, no, and the Packers, they kind of do this, it seems like, every year. I mean, for the last couple, I guess, but like they have like, I don't know, their team looks good, but then like in certain moments they just look awful. Like it's weird. Like Rodgers, I feel for him. I'm like, man, I mean, he's a great all-time quarterback, Hall of Famer, first ballot, but it's rough to watch them sometimes.
Yeah, they'll have like these flat performances where they just look horrible, like they did that last year against the Niners a couple times. So, Tyler, question I'll ask you now: more impressed with Bucs or more concerned with the Pack?
I hate to do it, but I agree with Casey. I'm impressed with this. The Bucs remind me of like the Tom Brady young Patriots, where they play D, they run the ball. I'm really impressed with Ronald Jones. He's taking a step up, and they can just run the ball. And if you can run the ball and you play defense like that,
and they got Fournette, who's a good backup too. So it's like they got extra guys.
Well, he hasn't played yet. Like
that's my point.
He played earlier. He comes back this week, and they're going to be able to run the ball even more. And then the Packers play in that division, and there's no one in that division that really concern. Maybe the Bears somehow win, but they're never scary.
The Bears are the one franchise that never can get a quarterback. They never can end up with a quarterback there, so they never can scare him. Yeah, that was I was hoping it would definitely be a better game. Obviously, not having the red zone. Not having the red zone, that was my only game in the afternoon. So that got turned off in the second half there when the Packers couldn't move the ball. Case, I kind of wanted to go back to your point real quick before we move on. You're right about the Packers, man. If I was a Packers fan, I'd be interested to get like somebody like Mike Price's thought on it or something like that. Somebody actually watches the games like really intently. Is Rodgers? You're right. He really does have these like just horrible moments in like a season where when he sucks. I mean, it's brutal. There's some bad games out there. So I'd be curious to see how Packer fans feel about him kind of moving forward. I mean, he's having an MVP performance, but a game like this, you can't have a game like this in the playoffs. And he did that last year against the Niners as well. And I don't know. We'll just kind of see how this, I guess the Packers offense maybe isn't quite as good as maybe we thought it was.
Yeah. I mean, they have a stud running back, stud quarterback. Aaron Jones is a beast.
He is. He scored a touchdown in 5 straight games.
I mean, the receivers, they kind of feel like the Patriots, where they just take these late round picks and they just have such a great quarterback and a pretty damn good system that they just fit them in. But I mean, Lazard's like your number 2, or it just doesn't. I mean, I don't know.
He's on the IR.
Yeah, exactly. He just got hurt. So,
but yeah, they got to figure out a way. I mean, well, maybe the backup quarterback can play wide receiver that he drafted. No,
Jordan
Rodgers is like, maybe he can play a little backup for us instead.
I didn't even add him to my backup QBs.
Yeah, he did not. Well, he was a draft. So let's get into real quick here before you go on to the next this week. A couple other games to look back on real quick. Niners bounce back, come off a big win, beat the Rams 24-16. That score wasn't quite as close as the game was. They played well, looked good. Rams just have these moments as well where they struggle. Casey or Browns hit the fan, as we say. They got absolutely destroyed. The Steelers played varsity football. The Browns played JV last week, and it showed.
And then all over again. I was like, man, when they suck, they suck. I was just like, against the Steelers and Ravens, they got outscored 76-13. I was like, that's not a winning team. That is not.
At least, go ahead, T.
All these teams, like we said, the last 3 teams we brought up have these doo-doo performances. It's NFL. There's teams that just the
injuries play such a factor too, right?
And people it's hard to play in the NFL. You're hurt. You get banged up. And there's weeks where things get out of control and it just shit rolls downhill. So
they were saying Baker Mayfield, though. I think the only quarterbacks over the last, I forget, few years is Jameis Winston and Phillip Rivers with, I think, Baker has 7 multi-interception games. I was like, that's not. I mean, he's.
I would love to have Jameis Winston be the quarterback of the Browns. I think they'd be better.
You call him Jameis Witness?
Winston.
There's a witness.
Did I get a witness? No, because Jameis Winston. I think he'd be way better than Mayfield. I think their offense would be much more explosive. He might give up more interceptions, but
20 picks.
I don't know. I just feel like he would be better with the Browns. A couple other games real quick before we look ahead. Broncos stun the Pats. Adam, it's nice to have them below 500. Just very nice to have the Pats below 500. I hope you enjoy that clap. And Titans, no practice throughout the whole entire week except for probably twice. I'm lying. I'm sure they were practicing somewhere. And the Texans, they end up Romeo Cromwell with an interesting decision there going for 2, and the Titans end up pulling it out. They beat the Texans last week, so they remain undefeated, which sets up one of our games this week. So let's move on, gentlemen, to our new Let's Go for 2 segment. Our look ahead here. Let's pick the 2 games that are the best of the week. I'm going to pick this week.
Let's make a better play call than Romeo.
Yes, Romeo was not better. So the 2 games I'm going to go with this week for us to look at are the Niners and Pats and the Titans and Steelers. I feel like those are the biggest games. We usually do go with the Niners, but this week, actually, I feel like it is a big game. So let's talk about that game real quick here. Garoppolo coming back to face Bill finally. Newton back again for the second week. Patriots under 500 for the first time in a long time. I don't know, gentlemen. This game just feels like a big game. If the Patriots lose, is this the first time they possibly miss the playoffs or at least miss the division? For the Niners, they're in a really hard division, so they just need to keep pace. They need to keep winning. They have a lot more injuries with Mozart out too. Mostert. So
the piano player, Mozart.
You guys got to think of a good nickname for me when I butcher names as much as I do. I don't know. I feel like the Pats should be a little bit hungrier. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What do you think? Belichick coming off a loss. That always makes me think that the Patriots have an advantage. So I don't know. Tyler, what's your thoughts of the game? Do the Pats end up losing to the division this year finally? And what's your thoughts of the game overall here?
It's going to be a good one. I think it'll be a close game. It's going to be low scoring, I imagine.
Great music. Great.
I would. What?
That's a great music.
We won't be able to see Mozart. I mean, the Patriots definitely have the advantage at home, and I would bet against Bill on coming off a loss and getting Cam.
Come on,
back
it's your
in
team. You got to bet against them. Come on, you got to feel good, right?
I might be betting against them, but I get points that way.
That's true.
We'll see.
Well, great analysis there of the game. Casey, let's get your thoughts, Casey, on the game. What do you think of the Niners and Patriots? Are the Patriots finally losing the division this year?
Yeah, today, Junior. But no, I think the Patriots they're going to lose today. I think Cam Newton's just. It sucks when it happens to you. It's just some things just do not go right, man. And he's the perfect person to blame. And it's just like it's going to come crashing down. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh, it's Newton's fault that we didn't win the division and we didn't make the playoffs." So I have them missing the playoffs. I have them not winning the division, obviously. And then I got the Niners today. I just think Niners are just, they have, like Tyler, we were talking, I think off air, was Shanahan's just a great play caller, man. He just knows where to put his players and make them excel. It's going to be tough though without Mostert today, but I think they pull it off. I mean, if Denver can win with 6 field goals, and the Niners, I mean, they're going to put up some points.
And just to kind of get to your Newton point,
our defense is not nearly as good as Denver's.
Yeah, that is true.
That is true, especially with all the injuries going on. To your point about Newton, the COVID thing, obviously, you got to say had maybe played a factor because the first 2 games, he's 552 yards and 5 total touchdowns. And then he's back, and now he's like 320 with 2 touchdowns. So, he did play some better defenses, obviously, too. So we'll see if maybe now, I don't know, none of us have had that sickness yet. So maybe that plays a factor in your body recovering still, not much practice time. So I know for the Niners' sake, they're hoping that that's not the case this week. So Tyler, is there anything else we should be looking forward from the Niners standpoint? You obviously watch the games a little bit more closely than me and Casey. Is there like something we should probably look forward to, or that you're kind of looking for, where if you see this, you start to feel good, or you kind of feel worried about the game?
The Niners just need to get a big play early. Like they got the big play to Kittle, and they set up that big play to Jusek when Mullins was starting on Sunday night against somebody, and they just missed it. And it just gets them off to a good start where they can sort of put pressure on defenses where they have them on their heels instead of like on their toes attacking. So look for a big play early if the Niners are going to be successful.
Case, your point too, before we go on to the next game about Shanahan too, I think Tyler also that makes the point that I think you're going to see a lot of creativity from him with like fake runs, reverse runs, setting up stuff to kind of get, because Bill Belichick always has good plans. So I think they're going to try to do a lot of misdirection to set up the run. Like they kind of did.
Debo's so good at running the ball.
I know he's a savage.
He's
a beast. He is, man. He's unreal at those runs. I mean, once in the Super Bowl alone, you saw that, you're like, okay, this guy's a beast there. So that's the Niners-Patriots game. I feel like that's one of the big games here for the week. Let's move on to the next one. I think we can admit you got one more thing to say. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I just want to shout out Jason Verrett. He went to the Santa Rosa Junior College, our local JC. He has a 7.6% passer rating against him this whole NFL year. So,
way to represent
good
Santa
job,
Rosa,
my man.
Did he go while you were there?
Yeah, I think maybe when I was in high school. So
high school there,
which was connected to the school. So
little Santa Rosa JC shout out there. So keep it going. Did the Niners draft him?
No, he started on the Chargers.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. So next game here.
That's
the Flanagan favorite, Titans versus Steelers. This game was supposed to be played in week 3. It's now even a better game because it's now pushed all the way back now. Both teams are 5-0. Kind of been some good trash talking during the week a little bit. Both teams are just on fire on a different level. The Steelers' defense is a little bit beefier, I think we can say, but they don't run the ball on offense quite like the Titans do. And I don't know what to say about Ryan Tannehill. I mean, like, I'm just like, I'm kind of stunned. You know what I mean? Like, he has 13 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has 113.6 quarterback rating, which is number 1. He has a 70% completion percentage. He has 1,300 yards thrown on the year. I mean, what is with this guy? Let's go with you first. Are we finally starting to believe in Ryan Tannehill as a legit quarterback in this league?
I believe it. If you can run, like I've said, if you can run the ball, it's so much easier to play offense. And like with Derrick Henry, who's the biggest freak of running backs. Like he never gets caught from behind, and he's 250 pounds, and he is a bird. Like he's a freak. But so I think that all sets up.
But don't you think he's kind of also played a little bit like more like? He's kind of been a little bit better, like than you, not as robotic even. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you have a great running back, your quarterback, it's like robotic, like the Kerry Collins-esque people. I feel like he's actually getting better though.
Yeah, he's better than that. It has improved tremendously, but I don't think he could win like in a Rodgers like situation or like Peyton Manning won. Now he won back in the day, like where he'd have to score 45 a game, running the ball less than 20 times. I don't think that's going to be his MO ever.
So then let me ask you guys this. If Ryan Tannehill, if you're not quite there with Ryan Tannehill, that's kind of to me makes this game one of the reasons why it's even a bigger game. You kind of have these games every once in a while in an NFL season where you have the favorite team that's the away team, which is the Steelers, because they have the history of being dominant. They have the better record. They have the better track record. They have the number 1 ranked D. They're only giving up 63 yards a game. Henry has struggled against some of the better defenses running the ball at times this year, but the Titans have ran for almost 800 yards on the season, which is just stupid. That's crazy right now. They're running that much. So they're doing unreal. So I don't know, like, is Tannehill, this is kind of a big game case on like against Roethlisberger, against the Steelers, maybe to like kind of Tyler's point, like if he wins this game, does he start to kind of like the general fan like us, are we starting to like take him more serious?
I've been taking him serious since last year, man. Al Davis would say, man, just win, baby. That's all he's been doing since he took over from Mariota. I mean, what else do you want him to do? I mean, yeah, he's not the ideal pocket passer, but that's part of his strength. I think he's getting out of the pocket and being able to do bootlegs. And when he is in the pocket, man, Corey Davis, my God, that guy's a beast for a wide receiver. And then
he's pretty good too.
They got playmakers, and
AJ Brown and Jonnu Smith.
And then I saw that stat and I was like, that's crazy. It was Derrick Henry's one of 3 players to rush for 200 yards. 3 games of 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. LT, Danian Tomlinson, and Barry Sanders were the others. I was like, and those were like shifty kind of different backs, but I don't know, man. Derrick Henry is just a whole nother animal. It's insane. But I think him and Ryan Tannehill they complement each other. Just a solid football team.
I think if the Titans are going to win this game, I think Tannehill's going to have to play. He's going to have to make the plays. Like the Steelers' run defense I just can't see getting gashed that bad today. Maybe like 96 yards, but I can't see them like just torching them. I mean, their front 7 is so good. The Steelers, I just don't see Henry having that big of a day to the point where I feel like Tannehill is going to have to be the one that, if he plays well, it probably will change a lot of people's perspective on him going forward. You know what I mean? So I didn't realize how mobile he was as mobile. He's like, that's the thing I've realized the most from his change from the Dolphins to the Titans is like his pocket awareness is much better than I thought it was before.
He was a wide receiver in college.
Yeah, he's starting to show that. He did have a horrible, when he went in for a touchdown, he tried to flip the ball. He totally biffed it as he like some people run in, they have the easy touchdown. They kind of do the little ballerina flip. He you guys should go back and watch it. He tries to do the flip and dance and he just goes stumbling down.
He dislocated his shoulder.
It's no credit for that one. So that was a pretty horrible finish there on it. So I don't know. We'll see. Regarding this game, you guys know I follow some of the other people on our pod here. This guy that we follow at I Don't Know Sports Podcast had a question on his Twitter poll, and I kind of wanted to throw it out to you guys because I thought it was interesting. Ryan Clark, I don't know if you saw First Take this week, made some pretty crazy comments about Henry or something like that. And then so he sent out the question, who would win in an Oklahoma drill between Henry and Cam Chancellor? And I was like, oh, that's actually
in Cam Chancellor's prime, or
who's winning that drill? They're both they're literally, I think, both 235, right around that height, and they're both 6'3". So I was like, well, I don't know. That's a tough one right there. I guess I got to go with Henry, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody want to take a shot at that one? Case Chancellor or Henry in that one?
I think everyone wins but them because
yeah, exactly.
They both just get concussions.
I think concussions win.
The concussions win on that as well. It's so funny. That's a drilled football sometimes. All right, so that's our let's go for 2 segment there. The 2 games to look at this week. So Niners, Pats. I think we're all kind of here, kind of thinking that's going to be a close battle there. Defensive kind of grind. And the Steelers, Titans should be a good game. Should be exciting. 5-0. That one's going to say a lot here moving forward, especially a big game for the Titans. I just feel like that's a huge game for them. So that's our look at 2 segment for the week. Let's move on here now, gentlemen, to our news.
Darren, there's something that's not on the outline. Just you two as Raider fans and news in the NFL. What do you guys think of Antonio Brown going to the Bucs?
Well, just for that actually just goes right. That is a good segue, Tyler. That's the first thing on the news and note segment here is Antonio Brown joins the Bucs on a 1-year deal. So
I didn't see that on our outline. So
good knowledge.
I wanted to get to it.
Look, this is why we are natural fits together, people. He's reading my mind. This is just, we're all on this together. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get to that real quick. Antonio Brown to the Bucs, or let me just name these other notes and then we'll talk about that one here. So Antonio Brown joins the Bucs on a 1-year deal. OBJ is not allowed at LSU anymore for giving out $2,000 after the NCAA championship game to players. I don't know if you guys remember that. After the game, he was handing out $100 bills. So what a ridiculous rule, the NCAA. It's just stupid. Some believe the Saints could move on from Michael Thomas after this year. It's been circulating that his nickname in the locker room is Can't Stand Mike. I thought that's a very good nickname. I Can't Stand Mike. And I thought this was an interesting fact. Daniel Jones, his top speed on that run where he slipped going into the end zone, actually was at a top. He's at a top speed than even Lamar Jackson has been at any point. So I thought that was very interesting. Obviously, Lamar Jackson, I'm sure, would not have fell down running in a straight line. But with that said, I thought that was interesting. Those were the interesting news and notes from the week there.
I saw a stat where Tyreek Hill was like, "See, I'm not that fast," and it was like Tyreek Hill's fastest speed this year was only like 0.1 faster than Daniel Jones on that run. He was like, "See, I'm not that fast. I don't know what you guys are talking about."
Oh my gosh, that was just like the total. Like you're going so fast. Like his body got so far ahead of his legs, he could like keep forward.
I think that also like shows what football speed's really about. Like that guy's like, yeah, he's fast in a straight line, but football fast, he's still not fat. Like, you don't get to go that like straight line speed ever really as a quarterback. So
there was a play. That play reminded me of they didn't score, but it reminded me of a play the Raiders had one time with Terrell Pryor. They were in like a 92-yard like option play. Like he just went in a straight
against the Steelers,
line, like, or something like that. And like just did like this bootleg in a straight line. That's what that play reminded me of. But again, Pryor a little bit more athletic, was able to keep his balance there. So T, let's get back to your first point though that I brought up in news and notes before we get to the dump and run segment. Antonio Brown, he joins the Bucs, 1-year deal. Brady gets his guy finally again. Let's go with you first. See what kind of impact is on the Bucs. Does put them over the top again?
I mean, the rich just keep getting richer. You have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown as your top 3 receivers. Like, it's an embarrassment of riches for the Bucs at wide receivers. So I think it's
but could he cause trouble in the locker room? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Is Brady the babysitter? Did he tell Arians that I'll keep a track on him? Is that what he said?
I think they said your ass is cut if you have one little misstep. Like they have they'll pay him week to week is basically the contract he's on. So like he has to stay in line. I don't see that being an issue. Unless he tears it up the first 3 weeks where he's like, okay, they know what I'm about, I'm entitled, and then he does something stupid. But I still think they'd cut his ass.
Yeah, I think Brady has a lot to do with this, obviously.
Oh, for sure. He's been wanting him since the Raiders.
Since New England, right? Yeah, no doubt. And Brady loves those little 7-yard drag routes that Brown is just unreal at, and the little wide receiver screens, and obviously he can go deep too, but he's really good at that
he's
as well.
A beast.
But when you have Evans and now you have Godwin, like you said, that are big receivers, and you got the speedy little demon receiver there, it's like unreal. So, Case, what's your thoughts on Brown to the Bucs? I'm sure you like it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a beast. I mean, he's at one point was the best wide receiver in all the league. I mean, how can you not want to pick him up? I'm just sick and tired about hearing about him because it's like he hasn't even played for like over a year, and like I don't know. It's just like you got to prove it to me again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, like I said, he's the most talented receiver when he was playing in the game. It's just now you got to prove yourself again, not on the field, but off the field. Yeah.
And I think for us as Raiders fans, it's even more frustrating because like he could have helped us, if he had his head on straight, but decided not to. So
if him and Ruggs were playing together, that's a good dynamic duo right there.
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of hard not to be.
You guys got Hunter Renfrow.
That's true. We do have Hunter. He's a great possession receiver. He did make a nice catch a few weeks ago on Monday Night Football against the Saints, so we will give him that. And a 2-time NCAA champion. So with Clemson. So you're right.
And when he catches a national championship,
we cannot forget our little white receivers out there. Hunter Renfrow, nice job out there. Good job.
And Taylor, step up your game.
So that's our news and notes segment. We got Brown, OBJ kicked out of LSU. Saints may move on from Michael Thomas, and Jones can't stay on his feet. So let's get to the dump and run segment for this week, boys. Let's get how it works now. 3 questions, 30 seconds, fan favorite. I wanted to kind of do a couple throwback questions this week, and I'll ask kind of but I'll start with the do it a little differently than the order I sent you. So let's start with the real football question first, and I'll ask you the throwback question second. What do you think is going to happen first? A team that's undefeated. So the Seahawks, we got the Seahawks, we got the Steelers, and we got the Titans. Obviously, one of those teams will lose. But what's going to happen first? Team loses or the Jets win a game? Casey, what happens first?
Jets are not winning anytime soon. They're terrible. They're the worst team in the NFL. They remind me of the Raiders when they sucked for a while.
They are.
They're
The
awful.
Niners with Cody Pickett.
Oh my gosh, yes. Against that Bears, that performance is the one I remember the most. The Jets, just Tyler, before you make your little call here, Jets play the Bills, Chiefs, Pats, Chargers, and Dolphins. Not many wins out there. What do you like to happen first?
Well, I mean, since the Titans are playing the Steelers.
That's one. So you're going to have one team lose. So you're basically banking on
Oh,
the
all
Titans,
of the teams lose before the Jets win?
one of the undefeated teams lose. There's only three
Any
left.
team
So,
with Joe Flacco and no weapons, I didn't want no part of.
I have to say that I believe the Jets will win a game. I think before a team loses. I think they will. I don't think it's going to be this week, but I could see them. I could see Gase getting fired possibly this week or next week, and then maybe them getting a little energy, and Frank Gore has a big game, and they win like 10-7 or something like that.
Frank Gore has to be running like 4.940 at this point.
If the Jets win, I'll have the Adam Gase crazy eyes if they pull off an upset.
There you go. All right, so
how does that guy still have a job? He sucked with the Dolphins. He sucks with the Jets. I don't get it.
He was on crack when they hired him.
I like Casey's little thing with the eyes. It is pretty funny how he does that. All right, question number 2 here. What was your favorite football commercial growing up? I'll go with the first one. My favorite one was the Michael Vick Experience. I thought that was the coolest commercial growing up. I always thought that obviously he was on the cover at that point, and he lit up the Vikings in the playoffs at that point, and so that's my favorite commercial growing up.
Not the Packers
Or the
Vikings is regular season game.
The Vikings is regular season, excuse me. Yeah. Tyler, do you have a favorite commercial?
Yeah, mine's the Snickers one where the guy paints the end zone and he paints it wrong and he comes out and he looks great. But who are the chefs? And
I forgot about that.
and he's like, why wait? Grab his want to get away? Grab his Snickers. No, want to get away Southwest. Maybe it's a Southwest commercial. Want to get away.
No, it was Snickers. Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
But yeah. That's my favorite.
That's good. Casey, you got one?
Mine's kind of just like a classic little throwback because I think it was the first Campbell's player to do it. But I remember Tyler, he'd always say, like his mom would be like, "We're having soup." It'd be like, "Reggie."
I forgot about Reggie White doing it. I always thought of Donovan.
I know that's a good call, Case.
Reggie.
I like how we all had different ones too. We had the Vic one, we have the Reggie one. That's good. And then Tyler with the Tyler, you had the remind me again real quick.
The chefs.
The chefs. That was a good one. That actually used to be one of my favorite ones too. So all right, question number 3 here, a dump and run segment. Another throwback question. Other than your favorite team, what was your favorite NFL uniform growing up? I'll go first again. My favorite uniform growing up, a combination of helmet and uniform. Team really was horrible all of its time. Maybe part of the reason I also liked it was I just for some reason loved the Bengals uniform, especially the black uniforms that they used to wear with the stripes and the shoulder stripes and
Corey Dillon ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love their uniform. So I'm going with the Bengals. Case, you got one that you still like growing up?
It was kind of hard. I mean, like the old ones that I liked, I actually liked the Orange Crush Denver uniforms, even though I hated Denver, but I thought they were kind of sick jerseys.
I thought maybe another couple other ones, or go ahead, say, let's give you yours first. What was your favorite?
Mine?
Yeah.
I'm going to have a couple listed. I don't think I even liked them in the time. I started liking them once they went away was the Kurt Warner first year, the blue and yellow instead of once I went to the gold, I was like, these are pitiful.
Those are
then
clean.
They went to
those are clean. That's a good call.
Gold. I want to give a shout out to the AFC West. They other than the Chiefs, I don't really enjoy their jerseys too much, but those old Broncos jerseys, the Chargers did it right with the powder blues, and the Raiders have the best jerseys. Just unbegrudgingly, but it's just the fact of the matter.
I don't think the Chiefs have that bad uniform.
No, they're not bad. They're just boring.
I was gonna throw a couple other I liked. I also liked the Jags when they first came out with the little teal. The Mark Brunell uniforms at that time. I was like 12, so I liked that color, and I was like, oh, those are awesome jerseys. Even though now looking back at them, they're not really that great. But at the time, I really love those. So that's our Dustin segment. You got one more you wanted to throw out there? It looked like you had one more you wanted to throw out. T, you could throw one out there too.
No, I'm good. I didn't really. I mean, the Raiders were my all-time favorite.
Yeah. T, you had another.
The Bills when Jim Kelly was playing with the red helmet and the blue. And
Of
I was
course.
a big Bills fan back in the day. So, and
Big
Doug
Thurman
Flutie.
fan. Big Thurman. I thought you were Rob Johnson. No, I was kidding. All right, so that's our
the fruit with the headband. Not the fruit with the headband. They took out Flutie and put him in the Minnesota Miracle. Or Minneapolis or Tennessee. I don't know.
Yeah,
what it's called. We know what we're talking about.
I want to get into that one.
Idiot.
All right, so that's our dump and run segment for the week. All right, boys. Let's get into what everybody's here for. Let's get into the gambling segment. Rough week last week. We all sucked it up.
Speak for yourself.
Casey, me and you went 1-4. Clint went 1-4. Tyler, you went a cool 3-2. That means Tyler, you actually are the only one with a winning record now, 13-12. Casey, you're 14-15. Or excuse me, Casey, you're 12-12. I'm 14-15. Clint, you're at 5-5 this week. Or going into the week. So Tyler, you're back at it. The only one with the green arrow somehow. So Casey, we need to rebound this week. We need a big week from us. Big week this week. So before we do, let's get a few of our stats out there. Casey, you'll give us the fancy player this week, and then Tyler, you'll give us the upset of the week. Upset of the week. All right. So a couple stats I want you guys to keep track of this week. Cowboys are against the Washington are 15-4 against the spread. And they're and against the NFC East, they're also 15-4 against the spread since 2017. So if you're feeling good about the Cowboys, they have a pretty good record against the NFC East recently. The Raiders are 5-0 when it comes to the over this year. So I like their chances with the over. Atlanta, they play the Lions. They're 5-10 after this against the spread as a home favorite since 2018. And Denver, which I thought was interesting, is 4-1 against the spread as an underdog this year. So Denver is kind of since last year. So Denver is kind of a tricky one to go with, I thought, as well, because the Chiefs has kind of struggled against teams they should beat, like the Chargers earlier in the year and the Raiders. So we'll see how that one plays out. So those are a few stats I thought you guys should know going into the gambling week. Casey, why don't you get our audience caught up on who's the fantasy player of the day and who's going to be the fantasy dud of the day?
So,
milk duds.
I got Kareem Hunt going against the Bengals. I think
it's a stud.
That's a good call there.
Yes, I love it. Let's go, Kareem.
I mean, he's doing pretty well. He's got 383 yards this year. 89 carries and 3 tubs. But I think just going against the Bengals, they're going to get a lot of opportunities to score. Be a nice little bounce back game. And then my fantasy dud I actually have is Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know. Sometimes he's hit and miss. I know he's usually pretty consistent, but some of these games are just I don't know. There's one game during the NFL, just for a team that they're going to struggle. I think this is the one.
That's a good call. That's a way of going on a limb there. I kind of like your Hunt pick because the Bengals have one of the worst rush defenses in the league as well. So Casey going with Hunt for the fantasy player of the day. Big Ben for the fantasy dud of the day. Tyler, you get the shot this week. Casey was on a 2-game winning streak. He lost last week. He almost was right. He almost got Bengals again against the Colts, but unfortunately loses. That means you get the upset of the week this week. Tyler, who are you going with?
I'm taking the Panthers over the Saints. No Michael Thomas, no Emmanuel Sanders. Teddy Ballgame he does this thing. He's consistent.
Come back and bite the
Mike
Saints.
Davis has done a great job of filling in for McCaffrey. So
that's true. Yes. All right. So that's the upset of the week from you.
Panthers
over Saints. All right. I like it. All right. So let's get into it. Our 5 picks for this week, gentlemen. Let's finish up the podcast here strong. Tyler, let's give you the first shot this week. Let's get your 5 picks.
Coming off a 3-2 overall winning
Feeling
record
good.
now.
There you go. I like the confidence. Let's go.
I'm taking. All right. So first, I got the Niners getting +3 against the Patriots.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a very close game. So I expect a field goal to win it, and I expect a push or a win.
Okay, so and then
I got Bucs getting -4 versus the Raiders.
Okay.
I think their defense is too good. I think we're going to see check down Carr against this fast, high-powered defense the Bucs bring, and Tom is Tom. I got the Packers -3.5 against the Texans. Texans defense really blows, and I expect Rodgers to really bounce back. And then I got my upset of the week. Of course, I have to bet on if I'm gonna pick it an upset of the week. I got the Panthers getting 7.5. No Thomas, no Sanders.
All right.
Panthers to pull it off. And then I got the Bills versus Jets. I'm taking the over of 40.5, and I expect the Bills to win 40-3.
I like it. That's great. The Jets contribute 3 points to the over. Well done there. Case, you are sorry, Fred. You're trending down here the last 2 weeks. Let's build up the fan base again.
He was really yapping those
let's get
gems.
Let's get that aura going again. Who we going with, my friend?
Little
5
humble
picks.
pie.
Five picks this week. Let's go. Who you got?
I got the Niners.
Okay.
I think it's 3.5. I could be wrong on that. I thought
Three.
I'll give you the
3.
spread this year. Yeah.
I got
We have the same spread, so
Yeah, we all have the same spread.
I got the Browns.
Okay, at 3
I
2.
got the
in your
Falcons.
underwear.
I got the Falcons and Lions over.
Okay.
And then I got what was that? I'm gonna go with a little. I think it's. I'm gonna take the Raiders over, or you know what I mean.
The Raiders, the points.
No.
Raiders.
Yeah,
Points or the
totals.
spread?
The points.
I thought you
Gotcha.
can only do one over under. These rules.
Only
So,
one. All right. Well, then I'll just take the Raiders straight up.
all right, sounds good. You can do over under if you want now. Raiders over.
And
So
then,
you got Raiders straight up.
yeah, straight up.
Okay.
Like, just pick them. Yeah,
Okay.
pick them. But you know what I mean.
Yep.
And then I got. It's just kind of hard for me to do, but I kind of already called them out. I got to go with the Titans over the Steelers.
Hey, they're getting 1.5, so that's not bad. That's not a bad call there. All right, so Casey's got Niners, Browns, the Lions, Falcons over. He's got the Raiders straight up, and he's got the Titans covering it as well. So those are Casey's 5 picks of the week. I am also, unfortunately, trending down. So I'm 14 and 15. I'm the only one here with a losing record, unfortunately. But this is a big week. I can feel it. I feel 5-0 finally coming around this week. I'll be the first one to get it done. I feel like this is a big week. I'm just going to talk like one of those idiots on TV and just pretend like it's going to happen one of these times. So 5-0 this week. It's going to happen.
Give me your money. I'll put the money where it needs to go.
Even if you don't, like Tyler said, just $50, I'll give you my picks. We could do, it all works out well then. All right. So my picks this week, I'm going to go with the Bills as well. Not taking the over under. I'm going to take the points. Bills at getting 11. I think the Bills will be motivated after 2 straight losses. I don't love Allen, but I'm gonna bank on him coming around this week. Jets are 0-6 against the spread this year. A pathetic 110 point differential. So just like Casey said, just one of the worst teams that we've seen in a while here. So it's hard for me to not take the Bills there, especially after those 2 losses. I'm taking the Packers and the points as well. I'm going with T on that one. Packers Packers are favored by 3.5. I just think the Packers are ready to rebound. It does worry me if the game is close early. Watson does worry me because he is obviously a dynamic quarterback and he throws the deep ball better than anybody. But I do like the Packers in this one rebounding. So, and the Packers have covered 5 consecutive games after a loss. So I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. The Niners Patriots, one of our games of the day. I'm going to take the under in this one. I just feel like the injuries to both teams over time. I feel like both defenses are solid enough in the run game. I don't feel like either pass offense is good enough to take really good advantage of the pass defense, and the Patriots anyways have a really good secondary. So the Niners would probably struggle there anyways. The only thing that does scare me in this game is the Pats sometimes bounce back after a loss. So maybe they get on fire on offense, but the points are 45.5. I'm going with the under there. My last 2, Raiders and Bucs. I'm going to take the over in that one at 51.5. I just feel like the Raiders and Bucs are going to score more than that. I just, Brown being back, I feel like I don't think he's playing this week, but I feel like Tampa will be motivated there. And I feel like we've both said it. We all said it earlier. The Bucs they're one good performance away from us probably saying that they're the best team in the NFC. So I think they're going to deliver that against the Raiders, who are missing, unfortunately, their best defensive player in Abrams. So we know, especially from watching a lot of the games, he's the one that brings a lot of the energy to that defense. So I think it's going to be really concerning with him not there.
Trent Brown too. There,
It's Trent Brown as well, and so I just feel like that's going to be a big one. And then Seahawks Cardinals, I'm going to go over as well. I just feel like with those offenses, I just feel like they got to score. The only thing that worries me is the Cardinals have finished under in all the games this year, which kind of is crazy to me that they've actually been under in all these games. But with Wilson throwing 19 touchdowns, which is the second most ever, I guess, through 5 games, which is shocking. And their defense has given up the Seahawks 15 touchdowns. So I just feel like with the math there, and I don't know, Murray's a lot better this year, obviously, than last year. So I just feel like those are the games to go with. So I don't know, boys. Those are our 5 picks this week. I guess we'll see at the end of the day who the winner is. Who's going to go 5-0? Who's going to do it? Who's going to be the first one here?
We'll see. Man, taking the Bucs over the Raiders. You ripped me for not having a great take on the Niners, and you pick against your own team.
Well,
Don't come at me.
Well, I'm a little bit more pessimistic, as we know.
We're all pessimistic.
I'm usually
Let's be real.
Well, Casey's the most positive. Let's be honest about
that.
Yeah,
for sure.
The Raiders could be 1-8. Casey could be like, they're going to win 7 in a row.
Ronald Curry's a Pro Bowler.
Ronald Curry's a Pro Bowler. Is he the defense? He's the outside linebacker that took home from Wake Forest.
No, I'm thinking of the receiver that played at UNC.
From North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he tore his Achilles like 7 times.
But doesn't make him a Pro Bowler.
And then, Casey, you were also on the Jacoby Ford train there for a little bit, too. You were pushing that one pretty hard for a little bit as well. So that was a good one.
You've had such shitty players you put.
Who was the other receiver they had? Like Denarius Moore or with Jacoby?
Yeah, he actually had a decent season, but then he struggled as well. So I don't know, guys. Should be a good week. This is kind of it's starting to get into the part almost halfway through the NFL season, believe it or not. So these are starting to be crunch time games here. We're starting to figure out who these teams are a little bit more, and it's kind of Vegas is now starting to get better and better at these picks as they're starting.
They're unreal.
To know better. So we're starting to struggle a little bit more. Clint, get our picks in next week. Put it on Twitter for us so we maybe know if we can beat you this week. That was fun, guys. Good podcast this week. I just kind of want to point out too, though, to other people, we're just getting this podcast started. We're enjoying it. We're new to this as well. We enjoy giving our opinions, and it's kind of been fun kind of listening to other people's podcasts as well out there that kind of do similar things to us. So I just encourage other people to check out other podcasts, get other opinions from different people as well, not just our main news source. So I look forward to continuing to listen to the I Don't Know Sports Pod, some of the other ones I found, House of Hoops.
Our opinions are better than all theirs.
They're ours, and I think at some point, Tyler, I think that's where I want to go. I think that's the idea we want to throw out to some of these other podcasts. Is let's start working together here. Let's get these pods out better. But always subscribe and like to ours first, Tyler. That's good knowledge on your point right there. So
Tyler is this positive about his picks.
I know.
I don't need to be positive. I'm pessimistic. That's my nature.
I'll be out. All right, gentlemen. That was fun this week. Next week, start of November, daylight savings. So we'll get an extra extra hour of sleep before we do this. So we should be nice and fresh nice. As daisies next week.
Extra hour.
All right, guys. Enjoy the games. Enjoy them responsibly. All right, guys. Peace.
Fuck the Dodgers.